Before we start, here is a question that catches developers at every level. There are two statements out here. The first comparison statement returns true and the second one returns false. Wondering why? If at all you have this kind of a question and you don't have an answer, this video is for you. This video is all about strings in Java. Hi there, welcome to video number 6 on strings in Java. I hope you have liked our previous video on arrays. My name is Achala Ramakrishna and I welcome all of you for this particular video on strings in Java. In this particular video, we are going to talk about string immutability. We are going to get into the string pool in detail. We are going to find out the difference between string builder versus string buffer versus string do's and don'ts of strings in Java. That's kind of very critical in terms of performance and memory. We're going to discuss about at least 6 coding exercises and 12 interview questions. This video is all about all packed. Now, if you have an exam to pass, or if you have an interview, or if you want to really strengthen about strings, this video is about you. Let's dive in. What does string immutability actually mean? What really happens in memory? Let me state the most important fact in Java is string is immutable, meaning you cannot modify strings. Let us see how it works. Let's declare a variable called s and assign hello to it. Now let us concatenate world to it. Let us declare another variable called string and then convert this in s to uppercase. Now when you try to display the output of t and try to run the program, you get hello world. Do you want to know how this works? Let's get into action. The first line is string s is equal to hello. What happens is there is a memory getting created inside the string pool. I'll tell you what exactly string pool is. A string pool is a separate memory inside heap where it takes care of string literals. Now memory is created for s hello. The address is 0x101. When you say s is when and then for this particular world literal, again memory is allocated in string pool. So now there are two memories, one for hello, the other one is for world. So when you are concatenating s is equal to s plus world, what happens? A new memory gets created inside the string pool with hello world. The moment this new memory is created, the previous two memories, that is 0x101 containing hello, 0x105 containing world, is getting orphaned. That means it is no longer of use. So garbage collector comes in and takes all the orphans and clears it up. That's how it works. Now when you try to convert that t s to uppercase, a new literal gets created inside the string pool called hello world. So currently what happens is, as you see these 4 lines of code, the first two objects, that is hello and world, went to garbage collection, and then the two variables s and t, that is address 20x201 and x301, remained. Without your knowledge, you have just created two objects, destroyed two objects, and created two more objects. Your ignorance can cost the performance and the memory implications as far as Java is concerned. Now, the time has come to understand how string works and what is string pool and how it works. One more thing you can actually find out is when I say system.out.println s dot system dot identity hash code object of s and try to display it again here. Now let's see the output. The first time the hash code value is 1159190947 for line number 13, and the second one for the line number 15 is 925858445. If the hash code changes, that means the object has changed. This clearly proves that string is immutable. You cannot modify the same object. It ends up creating new object. Now the golden rule. If you want to compare strings, let's say if you say string s1 is equal to new string of hello, and you have another string called s2 is equal to new string of hello with the same content in it. Now if you say s1, let me say if I say system.out.println s1 equal to s2, definitely you're going to see false in it, as because they are two different objects. Now if the only way to compare the content is system.out.println s1 dot equals s2. Now this is very important and interesting. So when I compare this, it will return true. So the golden rule is never compare strings with equal to. Always use the dot equals method. Don't use double equal to compare strings, because it will compare references. Use dot equals method. The golden rule is use dot equals to compare the content of the string. It's interesting, right? I really like it. Some of the best string practices from effective Java is avoid creating unnecessary objects. So if you see the green color line, string s1 is equal to high is always preferred than string s is equal to new string is equal to high. I repeat, always say string s is equal to high, never say string new of string of high, because that creates an object in the heap, whereas this comes from the string pool. Now beware of performance issues when you are using strings. Let me show you a piece of code and you really understand what it is. Now if I say string s is equal to hello, okay. Now let us write a for loop. Let's say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than 100, I plus plus. Now if I say s is equal to s plus space plus I think I have a 0 which I can actually take it out. Hmm. It says the local variable is not initialized. See, if you get some errors, no, you can have some small patience and do it. Now if I try to print it over here, this is how the output is going to be. It looks good, but I want to tell you this is a disaster. How it is? See, now string s is equal to hello. It's in the literal. Now whenever you, space is a literal, I is a, so when you concatenate it, it creates a new object. So inside the for loop, every time new objects are getting created. Now if the loop is running till 0, now imagine if your loop is running till 10,000. Now this is the most dirtiest code anybody can write in life. Don't care about the output rather than see the memory implications. 90% of the Java developers, especially the beginners or college students, are not aware about how the implications of string is going to be in the memory. They just focus on the output and the algorithm should work. That should not be the case. There are performance implications on string if you write this kind of code. Beware of concatenating among strings. So what do I say? Never use string if you think the data is going to modify. So what is the solution for it? StringBuilder is the solution for it. Okay, so in Java, you have there are two more classes called StringBuilder and StringBuffer, which come up with the same solution than string. So come up with a better, use StringBuilder instead of string, and this problem can be solved. Now let us get into the 18 essential string methods in Java. Whenever you are learning any class, let's say collection classes, array list, or a string class, anything like hash set and all, please try to learn the most essential methods, because that is what is going to help you in coding. So we have different, like close to 18 essential methods over here: length, caret, index of, last index of, substring, lowercase, uppercase, stream, strip, contains, starts with hello, replace, split, is empty, equals. If you know these methods thoroughly, then your quality of programming will increase. So let us actually go to Eclipse and try it out. So let us say something like string line is equal to, let's say, hello comma world. Now to display the length of the string, we can just actually say line dot length. Now do not get confused. In case of arrays, length is a variable or a field, whereas in case of objects, length is a function. So let's go about running the application. So you get 12 as an output. Fantastic. The second method is careted. So let me make my life easy. Let me copy this and paste it over here, and here I can actually say caret of 0. So this is one of the easiest way to find a character. In fact, I can write a for loop and extract in each and every character by using this particular method called char@. Now the next function is index of. So when you say index of, and let's say you want to search for the character called h. Okay, now index of will give you the index of the first occurrence of that particular character or the word. Now it is actually giving 0 is because h is in the top. Now just wanted to tell you that this particular line hello world doesn't have a lowercase h. Now if you give lowercase h, what happens is it will give -1. That means if it doesn't find, it will return -1. So that is something which is very good. Now let us say W, and then you will say somewhere around, my guess is somewhere around 7 or 8. Yay, 7. So I think I'm doing good job. Okay. Now let us actually search about last index of. So there is another index of. Now let me say something like hello. Now again the expected output is 0 because hello is there. But by chance if I put hello here also, so there are two hellos. So last index of will give you the last occurrence of that particular word. That is, so in the seventh location, this particular data is there. So that is what exactly is the meaning of last occurrence of, that's a last index. Now the one of the most important functions which people have to know when you are using string methods is substring. So if I say something like substring, and if I say something like the line called 7, that means what it is going to do is, from index 7, index starts with 0, so index 7 onwards it is going to print the remaining thing. So substring, if it has got one parameter, it from that index position to the remaining, it will fetch. Now if you want to do something like start and end kind of a thing to pick up, then let us say something like 12. Now if 7 is there, okay, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now let me run. If you might get, there is a chance of index out of bound exception if you skip it off. Now if you want to see, if you want to see that error, you can actually see it. Now if I say something like 13, so which doesn't exist, you will get, see, an exception. Now this particular exception is string index out of bound exception. Now if you are going beyond the index range, obviously you are going to get string index out of bound exception. So one of the thing which I really love is, let us say that string s1 is equal to line dot and replace. The first thing is I'll say world, and the second thing is Java. Now I think this particular thing is very clear. If I say system dot out dot println s1, now you will definitely see what hello Java as an output. Now if I print s line over here, if I print line over here, then you can actually see the output is hello world. So replace doesn't replace the current string, it actually returns a string where that particular word is replaced. That is something which we need to be particular about it. Now one of the most important methods of strings is the split function. Now let's say let us create a fruits with, so apple, mango, orange, banana. My favorite is grapes though. Now I can actually say string fruit list is equal to, now you can actually say split kind of thing. So easily you can extract each and every word and this particular thing. Now if you say system.out.println and you say fruit list, it should print. But last time what we have seen, right, in the previous video, the last video, I had to say arrays.toString, right? Now this is what I learned from the whole thing. Now it is going to display an array. So please understand that in order to extract data from a string and store it in an array, you will actually use the split functionality. Now let me tell you where this kind of functions can be used. Let's say you have a CSV file, comma separator file, and you have the data. You know that the data is separated with comma, or a PSP file where the data is separated by pipe delimiter, etc. Split really works. It extracts that particular data and puts that in the corresponding array. So and then this is easy. So suppose if you say something like string s2 is equal to something like this. So if I say system.out.println and then say s2 dot is empty, then this is going to return true, correct? Now if I say a, then it is going to return false. Similarly, you have a functionality called is blank. So if I run is blank, currently it might actually give false, but if I remove this and then give a space, then it might actually return true. So it is not empty, but it is blank. So you have seen so many functions, and the best way to learn is to code. So you see that in last 5 to 10 minutes, 5 minutes, I kind of wrote all the methods to figure it out. Now once I'm comfortable in using the functions, next time when I really do coding, if I have to do some split or replace or extract text from a particular line and all, I'm like super duper comfortable to do it. Yes. So I hope you have liked the essential methods of the string class. Next we will get into now the most important part of strings. How is string different than string builder and string buffer? Now we need to take this as an example. There are three classes. One is the string class, the second one is string buffer, third one is string builder. Okay, so string class is immutable. That means you can't modify the data of string. If you try to do so, it will create a new object. String builder, string buffer is yes. The difference between string builder and string buffer is, please be clear, String buffer is an older implementation. Yes, builder is a newer implementation. It is fastest. String builder is not synchronized, whereas string buffer is synchronized. So compared to string buffer, string builder is pretty fast. And when it comes to loops, right, string builder is the fastest. Now we can only understand the differences using Eclipse by writing code in Java. Now let us say that is a string s1 is equal to hello, string s2 is equal to world. Okay, now when I say s1 is equal to s1 plus s2. Now if you want to know the, let's go for hash codes. Okay, now after you do the concatenation, you can actually check it out. Now I can guarantee say that it will be two different ones. So what happened when you said s1 is equal to s1 plus s2? The previous object which was containing hello went to garbage collection because it became orphan. So the problem is string is immutable. It's not a problem. I some ways you can say string being immutable has its own reasons like security concerns, etc. Now coming back to how this can be solved using so you can actually solve it using string buffer. So I'm going to comment this code right away. We should enjoy coding, then the life is so good. So you can say string builder sb is equal to new string builder and then type hello. I'm not going to go for a different code, exactly the same. String builder sb2 is equal to new string builder of world. So currently now when you say sb dot append of sb2, and you can actually use this particular line identify hash code. So here you can see sb, and the same line you can actually see after the appending happens. Now are you surprised? Let's see the surprise. Now sb object is still the same. That means the data is getting appended. So whenever you feel like data can be modified, go for string builder. Whenever you feel that this is mostly a read only data and you can keep it in the string pool, then go for string class. Yeah, so this is the one of the ways to see the difference between string and string builder. Now if you want to know about the difference between string builder and string buffer is an older implementation and it is synchronized. You don't need to code using string buffer until you are writing some multi-threaded code. Okay, so let us actually, another way to understand the same concept is via loops. So let me go for another program. Let us check this out. Now I can actually say that, let's say string s1 is equal to hello. Now if I say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than, let's say 10, I plus plus. Now here if I say s1 is equal to s1 plus I, now here I will put this line and then say s1, and after you make change every time, let's say you're printing system.out.println s1. Now when you run this particular program, you can see that the loop is getting executed how many times. Okay, now let me comment on the data and let us look for the references, the hash codes. You can actually see every time you see a new hash code. This is, I think, this is one of the dangerous code in the earth. After I read effective Java from Joshua Block, that's where I figured it out. So the best thing I will tell you, there is always a day to learn Java. We should never have the arrogance saying that I know Java. Every day it surprises me. I keep learning. Now this is the story of what strings. See, such a dangerous thing. So many objects got created. Now, if I say this, what will happen? It is a disaster. So please don't use strings in loops when you are sure that the data is getting modified. That's my 110 cents advice. Now let us actually see if, see, I want to be practical. I if I don't see it, I can't preach it. Now let's say the same code I am going to write, s1 is equal to new of string builder of hello. Okay, now I'm going to use the same code. The content remains the same. There is absolutely no change. Now I'm going to use the same for loops here, and here instead of this I can actually say s1 dot append of I. That's what we are trying to do it, right? So I'm going to put this, or I have to convert, right? So it's an integer dot parse, no, and then I. Yeah, this is what integer is a wrapper class. Okay, now if I try to display the hash code, okay, if I can display the output, now let us first display the hash code. Now it is the same hash code for all the 10 times in the loop. Now this is magic actually. Now right now I am iterating, you know 10 times. What if I iterate 10,000 times? String class is a disaster because every time you are trying to modify new object getting created, 10,000 objects are getting created. Whereas in case of string builder, it is the same object which is getting appended. This is what people want, the best utilization of memory and the best performance. Okay, I really love it. And if you want to use the methods, you can actually see you have append, you can insert, you can delete, you can reverse and replace. So my only suggestion to all of you is, if you want to reverse a string, don't use strings, use string builder. There is a reverse method which is actually reverse it. Do you love it? Now the most important part of this video, the do's and don'ts as far as strings is concerned. Now the first thing is, do not, you see on the right hand side you have don'ts with a red color, on the left hand side you have do's with a green color. Never use double equal to compare two strings, because it doesn't compare the content, it compares the references. Okay, if you want to compare the content, use equals, number one. Number two, if you are trying to say s dot equals of target, and if there is s turns out to be null, then you get null pointer exception. There is something like Yoda condition. Instead of that, when you say target dot equals of s, this doesn't throw a null pointer exception. So my recommendation is, never use object dot equals of literal, use literal dot equals of object. You don't get a null pointer exception. This is a very important trick. Don't use strings if you think that the string data is getting modified. Use string builder. Correct? Okay, now you can use value of function, right? Never try to compare the length as greater than 0. That throws a null pointer exception. Instead, check if s is not equal to null and if not, s dot is empty. You can actually do a null safe check. At the same time, you can get out of null pointer exception. Then on the right hand side, when you say s dot to lowercase dot equals, two lowercase returns a string object. Unnecessarily an extra temp object is getting created. Whereas on the left hand side you see s dot equals ignore case, Java, it is not creating a new object. So never try to change the case and then do comparison, because that creates a temporary object. Be very careful. Okay. And the last and the most important thing I really like is, do not use s.trim. You must be thinking why. It actually checks the ASCII values of spaces and all, but ignores the Unicode specific, spaces and all kind of thing. Java 11 came up with the strip function, and that is what exactly it is recommended. So do s.strip, and it is going to handle Unicode specific values also. This is very important, and please keep this mind when you do coding, and these are the kind of questions which people might ask you guys in the interview. I really like this. What about you? Can you please subscribe my YouTube channel and like this video, share it with your friends. I think you are you are passing on my video to somebody else who is actually also trying to prepare Java on his own. It's coding time. So let's start with the first string exercise. Seems to be easy. Reversing a string without using StringBuilder's reverse function. Oh, that's good. So let us say string line or string str is equal to hello world. Okay. Now what we need to do is, we'll say something like string ref, or okay. Now let us use a character array called letters. As you know that, every array you have to put square brackets after the data type, is equal to, there is a function called two-char array which will convert a string into an array. You can find the end, so you can just say int length is equal to str dot length. Now let us do one thing, let us display it in reverse order first, and then we can display it. So we can actually say for int I is equal to 0, I is less than length minus 1 I plus plus. Oh, we have to reverse display in reverse order, right? So I is equal to length minus 1, I is greater than equal to 0, and I minus minus. This one will display. So we can actually use system.out.print, and then we can say letters of I, and let us try to run the program. Okay, yay, it's reversing it. Now the time to store it in a variable actually. So I'll say let's string is equal to reverse is equal to, let us put some semicolon. Now what we can do is, we can actually say reverse plus equal to letters of I. Now here I can easily say system.out.println reverse, and then we can say reverse. Now let's run this program. Yay, the output is coming. But do you know one thing? All these while I've been preaching that using strings is not a good suggestion, especially when you're modifying inside the loops. So it will be a slap on my face if I use it, and then say this is a good technique. So what is, so if you see, if you want to see this, right, every time when I say system dot out dot println, sorry, println, and then say system dot identify dashboard of reverse, right, you can actually see it for yourself. You will get different hash codes. That means every time new objects are getting created to solve this problem. This is one of the worst programming approach in life. You should never write this kind of a code. That's the reason what we are trying to do is, we're trying to use string builder. Okay, is equal to new of string builder. Fantastic. And then what we should use is, instead of using dot plus equal to, you can actually use append. Append is a nice function which will add it in the end. Okay. Now if I display the same output, please see the line number 13. I'm displaying the hash codes that will tell you whether new objects are getting created or the same object is getting appended. First victory is the same object is getting manipulated, so that many times new objects are not getting created, and you also got the output. What else you want in life? You want the code to work, and performance wise and memory wise the most efficient code. So this particular program for reversing a string is better than the previous program. Got it? So please think over. It is not enough that your program is working and then you raise your hands and you be happy. In fact, you should actually think, is my now let us take up the next exercise. Check if a string is palindrome. See, one thing which I wanted to be honest with you is, uh, you have methods of string, you have methods of string builder. So whenever you are doing program, instead of reinventing the wheel and instead of starting from scratch, effectively we should use the methods, so that a the code looks good and the code is maintainable also. Okay. Now let us say string word is equal to race car. Now to check if a particular word is palindrome or not, let us define a function called boolean is palindrome, which takes the word and returns whether it is palindrome or not. So here we can actually say system.out.println, and then we can just say is palindrome, and then we can pass the word over here, something like that. So we need not have to define it also. Now here we can actually say something like string builder, sb is equal to new of string builder of word, and then we can actually say string builder reverse is equal to sb dot reverse, and then we can actually say return sb dot equals of reverse. This is the best code you can actually write over 3 lines of code. Correct? Now, now let us actually put race car over here. Now let us see if race car is really palindrome. That's true. Now, do you know any other word which is a palindrome? I know. I know Malayalam is a palindrome. Correct. Now run the thing. So the beauty of writing code with functions is the level of reusability is clear. I can say that this is a modular code, and always you should write good modular code. Good. Thank you then. Now the next thing we should get into is let us discuss about the interview questions of the string class. Let me pick up some of the interview questions which are mostly asked in string. Why string is immutable in Java? Security concerns, threat safety. These are the two important reasons, and the usage of string full. Yeah. Uh, why does hello double equal to hello return true? Uh, because double equal to checks the for the references and not for the content, so it returns true. Yeah. Is it why does new string high double equal to new string high return false? Uh, you can see that new string creates a new object in the heap. So they're two different addresses. So hence the references do not match, and double equal to returns false. If you want to compare the content, you should avoid double equals to and you should use equals method. What does intern function do? Let me tell you one thing. On one side you have string pool and the other side you have heap, where string objects are in the memory. Now let's say that you declared a variable called string s is equal to hello, and in the heap you said string s1 is equal to new string of hello. Now when you say s1 dot intern, since already the text hello is there in the string pool, this object will be released and it gets connected to the string pool. So wherever you feel that you already have the content in the string pool, it should call intern. It's a very improvisation way of writing code. Another important question is between string versus string builder and string buffer. Already we have discussed this at length. String is immutable, string builder and string buffer are mutable, correct? And string is synchronized in a multi-threaded environment because its value doesn't change. String builder is not synchronized, so it is one of the much better ways when if you want fast performance. And if your data is changing, then string is not recommended. If your data is changing, then string builder and string buffer are recommended. String builder is advisable in loops. String buffer is an older implementation which is uh, which is not that used as compared to string builder. Okay, and is string is a primitive or an object? String is an object, correct? How do you check if a string is null or not? You can say s double equal to null or s is equal to s is empty. If you want to check for blanks, from Java 11 you have a new function called is blank also. Yes. Now, always try to make sure that you do not create new objects when you are using strings, and use memory effectively. That would like to say. I would like to thank all my uh, users who have stayed with me for such a long time, and I wish you a very good career. Every video I'll bring in a new topic of Java, from Java full stack development and Rocket. Thank you very much.